Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's coach learning session. We're going to try this week live just to see if it increases the engagement, if we can get a few people involved, a few questions around the topic of discussion today, which is going to be the discovery call process. So if you're a coach, you know all about this. You might call it a chemistry call, you might call it an introductory call, you might call it a consultation, but effectively it is the process, the sales process we have to convert clicks into clients. Now, we've just had a very detailed coach development session on Zoom with our coaches at Coaching Minds to go deep into this, to help coaches identify their sticking points and things they can implement to help them overcome this. But today, as the coach learning session, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the things that you need to think about and have in place as a coach if you want to build your business and take your business off the ground. Jane, thank you so much for being here. It's wonderful to see you. Thank you for being at the coach development session. It was lovely to learn from you in what you're doing in terms of your process. Please feel free to put your questions in the comments box below as we go through these 30 minutes together. Adele saying hello. Adele, thank you for being here and supporting. Please feel free to share your wisdom as well on this process. Let's see how this live goes today. Normally these are recorded videos that are published on YouTube, but let's see how a live goes. So today we are going to be looking at these four things. First of all, we're going to be looking at the client journey. We're then going to be looking at the pre-discovery, so all the things that we need to have in place and what do we need to do before we actually get into a room or a virtual room with our clients to tell them about our services, to listen to what they need and make a match in a sale. Then we're going to look at the actual discovery call itself. So how should we host it? Some things we need to think about when actually hosting the discovery call. And the final thing, what do we need to do and think about afterwards to close that client or start to get more clients in under our belt? So Facebook user saying, hi, sorry, I missed it. So there's no replay of the coach development session. The benefit of those sessions is on Zoom, I can learn more about the actual things you're doing and give you a more kind of tailored guidance and support with your sessions. So this is just to give you an overview. So hopefully you can get some value from this and think about a few things. Adele saying, really energized the session, really enjoyed the session. And Coach Jane saying, same here, Adele, energized for 2024. Excellent. I hope you have some things to take away and think about. So those who missed that and is here just to learn about the coach learning session and the discovery process in detail, we looked at this 6-stage process. Now, as a coach, certified, accredited, when you've got your accreditation, when you've got your certification, when you're practicing, you need to have a similar process to this 6-stage process in place. So what are these 6 stages? So first of all, you need to have what is known as a landing page or a website page, or you can get something known as Linktree or Tribe or various other kind of link places that drives traffic, that has a page about you, that has a way in which somebody can schedule a call with you as part of that process. So we're looking at the overall client journey here. So that's the first step. You need somewhere to direct people, to direct traffic. And then from there, on that page, you need to have some good copyright, some good content, some good information about you, not just a ChatGPT copyright, something that's written from ChatGPT and a nice professional picture of yourself. Be a bit inventive, be a bit creative, but you need a space where somebody can book you and learn a little bit about your services and what you do. The third stage is once they've found that, once they've booked that session, you need to give them a reminder of when that session's happened, confirmation that they've booked that session at that date and time, and then certain reminders throughout there, being mindful of the frequency. You then need to host that sales call, that discovery call, that chemistry call, whatever you want to call it. And then from there, you want to follow up with an email or a text or whatever preferred communication that you want. And then from there, convert that potential client into a paying client. So this is the overall process. You want to move from click all the way through to conversion. And the way in which you got to do this is you need to have this process. If you're just starting off as a coach, get this set up. To set something up, you can go onto Linktree. You can go onto Tribe. It's free. Get some services that you offer. Get a Calendly link. Calendly's perfect for scheduling as well. You can have a page. It's a good way to get a free version. There's paid versions as well if you want to remove their branding. But get something, check it out there. Get a scheduling tool that's going to help people book you. That can be then treated as your landing page, and you can then look to see how you drive traffic through that page. So get that set up. Think about the responses and the notifications. Think about how you want to actually hold the discovery call. Are you going to use Zoom? Are you going to use Teams? Are you going to use Google Meets? You need to have something like this in place as a new coach. Think about the process of when you follow up and then how you're going to convert. What's the way in which they can take payment? What's the terms? How do you have all that in place? You need to have this in place as a coach. Get it set up. Then once you've got it set up, you can start to track it and improve it. So how do we track it? How do we improve it? Well, first of all, what we need to do is break it down into 3 sections. So the first section is the pre-discovery section. So this is looking at the page where we're driving content to that page through social media, through search engine optimization, SEO, Google, whether it's YouTube, Instagram. Maybe you want to do it in person and put up some posters with a QR code and drive people through that way. But essentially, we need to look at how we get our website seen once we built that up. How do we do that? Things to think about. Second of all, how do we make that page attractive? So when people actually click that page, how do we make it attractive enough that they click that button and say, I want to book a call with you. I want to speak to you. Your page is speaking to me right now, and I want to get in a room with you. I want to learn more, and I want you to help me with the problems that I have right now. I want to be coached by you. You inspire me. So how do you inspire people through the page that you create? Second of all, how do you set up notifications? You know, if you can't afford, if there's no notifications that work through Calendly, if you can't afford a website or a plugin, that you don't have the technology to do that, then do it manually. If you're not getting loads of clicks and discovery calls through, just manually remind people. Set reminders in your phone for when you need to send those emails, but I would advise that you do this and find a way to automate it. So this is the pre-discovery section, and we need to have this in place as a coach. We need to have that space, that landing page. We need to have the space. We need to make it attractive and inspiring. You know, if you are looking at your content and your copyright, one thing we just talked about in our session was not to make it all about you. You don't want to sit there and say how fantastic and how great you are. The best way in which you can sell yourself is through a story that others can resonate with, a story that others can connect with. Additionally, talk about the value that you have to offer. Offer something for free. Hold a free course. Have a free ebook. This is what's known as a lead magnet. Have something that you offer to show the value that's then going to think, you know, this person looks really great. I want to book a call. How do you make people want to book a call? And then how do you think about the notifications, reminders, which isn't too much, too frequent? I'm sure we've all signed up to a webinar or an event, and we've gotten email notifications every day. We're going to meet in 48 hours. We're going to meet in 24 hours. We're going to meet in 12 hours. We're going to meet in 6 hours. We're going to meet in 15 minutes and 50 seconds. It puts us off, you know, when we get that. So think about the process that you want in terms of your notifications. Second of all, we need to look at the discovery call. How do we actually show up for our clients? We talked about the technology, whether we use Zoom or Team or Google Hangout, whatever it is that we use, MeetFox. There's lots of software out there we can use to have video calls, you know, Skype all days. So how do we think about that? But also, how do we actually want to show up? Are we going to show up confident? Are we going to show up a little bit shy? Are we going to show up, you know, dressed in our pajamas? Are we going to show up dressed up smartly? How are we wanting to show up to that client? What energy do we want to bring to that session? You don't want to bring low energy. You want to bring high energy. How do you actually listen to the client and focus on their needs rather than try and pitch this amazing service that you have to offer? How do you flip that? How do you focus on the client rather than yourself? Are you clear on the service that you are offering? Do you know what you can give, the value you have to offer to that client? And then, is there a match? A lot of coaches can fall in the trap that they will do anything and say anything to try and get a call, to try and get a sale because they want to build their client base, but don't think about the implications that that could have if that client isn't a match. It's got to match the service. You need to match the client's needs to your competencies and what you can actually offer. So think about that when you're in the discovery call. Next, post-delivery call. What do we do after the discovery call? When do we follow up? Do we have a template in place that has a nice message and a nice tone? What is it we're sending? What commitments do we make in the discovery call that we can then bring and put into the email that we need to follow up with? Then once we've sent that email, we've told them the cost, the services, we sent the link, how long do we leave it before we chase up? Do we chase them the next day and the day after and the day after and the day after and the hour after that and become very needy? Or do we give it some time and space and strategically plan our follow-up message and think about the actual customer service across all of this journey? What does our contract look like at the end? Do you have a long, clunky contract full of terms and conditions for them to read? Do you have them to sign it? Is it a bilateral contract, which requires your signature and their signature? Is it a unilateral contract where you just have terms and conditions that they need to click and view before they pay for your services? Is it succinct? Is it easy for them to understand? Do they have all the information they need, but not too much information, and it's clear for them to click and sign and join your program, your service, your coaching, whatever it is you're offering? This is the post-discovery call. We need to have each stage of this measured, tracked, if we want to improve and we want to start to convert clicks into clients. And why is it important to track? So this is the journey again as an overview from click all the way to conversion. I'm going to come to see if there's any questions before we go in, but I'm going to talk about the importance of why we need to track this. Because when we track it, we can start to understand where we need to spend our time, where the improvements need to be made, where the sticking points are, and how we can unblock that and flow more people through this process. So Adele is saying we must really have awareness around our communication methods, weight, and language. 100%. And this goes down to brand. We're not going deep into branding here, but you should be speaking your brand tone and who you are, your personal brand, through your written communication, your face-to-face communication, and every communication that you do, your emails, your texts, your WhatsApps. You need to be putting that across. It's not good if you're relying on ChatGPT for your website copyright, and then you don't speak or sound like that. It's artificial. It says it in the title. You don't speak or sound like that when you're in a room and you're engaging with people. You need to be careful when you use ChatGPT as a coach and ensure that you're not killing your brand, your personality, and what you have to offer in that space. And that is also saying be open to feedback and seek feedback so we can improve ourselves. 100%. This is the importance of coach collaboration. It's one thing we had a detailed talk about in our coach development session earlier on, is collaboration is not about getting on each other's podcasts, interviewing each other, doing a live together, doing a book together. Collaboration is about, I'm working on my discovery process right now. I've got a landing page that people land on. Can you tell me if this is attractive for you to click? Is there any improvements or suggestions that you can give me here to kind of get me into that next phase? I'm notifying people 3 times before. Is this too much? Is it too frequent? Is the message that I'm delivering here good enough? This is collaboration. We ask and seek feedback from other coaches, and we listen to that feedback, and we make those improvements. And it's one thing we're focused on collaboration at Coaching Minds this year. And one thing we really want to encourage is that type of collaboration where we can openly have a space, which we do have in our coach community, where our coaches can share what they're working on, share and identify where they might be struggling, and get the support and help from other coaches who have been there. So think about how you can get feedback. So we need to learn to track this from click to conversion. So first thing as a coach, if you haven't got this set up, get it set up. Straightforward. Don't worry about perfecting it. You can start to look at what's good and start to amend and build on it as you go through. And the reason why we must track it is because it can tell us where our sticking points are, where we might be having trouble, and where our focus needs to be on. So if we track this process here, I've got this as a no traffic. This is the issue with no traffic. So if you are checking your website, your landing page, your link tree, whatever it is you're using, and you're getting 2 clicks, and it's leading to no page schedules, no notifications, no discovery calls, no follow-ups, and no conversions, then you know that your focus for the next month or so is to get people driving and clicking on your website, to see your website. Maybe you need to spend time on SEO, search engine optimization, if you want to drive people through Google. Maybe you need to focus on building up your Instagram if that's where your potential clients are and that's where they spend most of their time. Maybe you need to be on LinkedIn if you're working with young professionals and making sure you're getting your website out there to drive traffic. So that is where your focus needs to be. If this is your analytics and this is what it looks like, 2 clicks to 0, 0, 0, 0, then you know your focus needs to be on, I need to get more people to my website. Now, if you're tracking it, it looks something like this. This could be an indication that you have poor copyright. And what I mean by copyright here is the content that you've got written on that page that is trying to sell yourself. Or maybe there's a link that's not working, or the process is a bit clunky and it puts people off. Or maybe you've got a form that's asking about 15 questions, and as they get to question 5, they're getting bored and turned off, and they don't want to go ahead and book that discovery call with you. But here, if you're getting 200 clicks to your website and only 9 people are then booking a discovery call with you, there's a problem in that stage between what you've got on your website. So you're attracting people to it, but your website and that page there's something wrong with that. So you know that you need to put your focus into amending this part of your website to then start to filter those 200 people into scheduling calls with you, to then go to notifications, discovery call, and follow up. So here, by tracking this, you can identify that you need to edit your page. Maybe it looks something like this. Maybe you just have a poor notification system. Maybe you don't have any notification system. Maybe you don't remind people at all that they have a session with you and they forget. People live busy lives. We're busier now more than we've ever been. We've got too many distractions through technology. People forget about meetings. They double book themselves. They say yes to everything because everything sounds fantastic, and they miss meetings. So if you're getting 200 clicks, 100 people then scheduling discovery calls with you, and maybe you're sending 100 reminders and you're sending it every day, and you're, like I mentioned earlier on, you're doing it every 2 hours, which is annoying people, or you're not doing it at all, then you have to look at where the sticking point might be here between your notifications, reminders, and your page, because it looks pretty poor if you're only getting 12% of people coming onto your discovery call. You then can see there's no issues with how you're presenting, how you're putting yourself across, how you follow up and conversion, because you're going from 12 to 12 to 10, which is a really high conversion rate. Okay, so if it looks like this is the importance of analytics, tracking this every week, understanding how your website page is performing, the quality of your website, and then going through each of the analytics here is going to help you start to understand where you need to put your time and energy to build this process and drive people through it. Or maybe it looks like this. Maybe it is just the way in which you deliver discovery calls, or how you're engaging with people on the follow-up side of things that is leading to a very poor conversion rate. Now, if you have 200 people clicking your website, that means you're doing quite well. You're driving traffic to it, which is fantastic. You're getting 50% of them then schedule a call. That again is fantastic. The reminders are going swimmingly, and you're getting 90% of that 50% coming on to a discovery call with you. You're following up with those 90, but only 10 of them are purchasing from you. Then there's an issue. There could be multiple issues here, but you need to look at this section and this portion of your sales process. Maybe it's the way that you present yourself. Maybe it's the way that you're hosting the discovery call. Maybe your cost of your service is too high. Maybe people are going in thinking, having a ballpark figure of what they want to spend on yours, and you're hitting them with that figure, and it's too high. I can't afford this. Therefore, you might be driving the wrong traffic. So you're driving the wrong traffic for the price that you're setting, or your price may be too high, and you might want to look to remodel and restructure what you charge. Could be either or, but at least you know, and you can hone down on this section, that I'm getting these calls, but I'm only converting 10%. Why am I not closing? Why am I not selling in that space? It could be that you're hosting the most amazing discovery call. You're connecting with them. You feel like you're connecting. They're telling you they want to buy, but then your follow-up process is really poor as well. Maybe you're being really needy. Maybe you're asking every day, are you going to sign up? Are you going to sign up? Are you going to sign up? Do you need to send me this again? Do I need to send you that again? And you contact them every day. You've sent them an email. You're giving them a call. You're messaging them on WhatsApp. Think about the follow-up process and how not to become too needy, but also not to leave it too late as well and just send out that email and that's it. You also always need to follow up and start to see, what that is. And then if they don't sign up with you, don't be afraid to seek for feedback. What was it that made you go with another coach? What was it that put you off from signing up to me? Because if we ask that feedback, we can learn. And if you have a lot of people coming back, you have 10, 15, 20 people saying, it was too high, I can't afford it, too high, I can't afford it, then you know that the problem's with your cost. Maybe they just says, I didn't like this, I didn't like that, or I found another coach that could do this, then you know there's something in terms of your performance that you can improve. So by having this process in place and not just having a link, a lot of coaches can fall in, I've got a Calendly link, book me, and just put it out there and think that it's all these magical people are just going to find your page, they're going to click, they're going to link, and they're going to come flocking to you because you're amazing. Then you're living in an unrealistic world. You have to put in this work. You have to have this process in place. You have to track it, and you have to look at the analytics so you can consistently improve it. Coaching isn't just about coaching. It's about running a business. And one of the ways in which you can run a business is by having a sales process that you can track and you can continuously improve, thinking about that client journey. Now I'm going to come back to the comments here. Anya's saying, not clear offer if you get people to offer you up. 100%. That could be another issue as well. So you know that that's the place you need to focus. Maybe your offer isn't clear. A lot of people, and this is one of the discussions we had in the coach development session, is do we put our prices on our page so people know exactly what our service is and how much we are charging before they book the call? Or do we keep our packages until people get into a call with us? Now, there's different ways of doing this. There's pros and cons of both. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments box. But yeah, Anya, 100% right there. If you are getting 200 views and 9 bookings, you're going to attract different people to offer that you have. Maybe you're driving the wrong traffic, or maybe you just don't have a clear offer and people aren't clear on what it is you're selling, the value you have to offer, and they get turned off as well. Christian saying follow-up is key and the right balance is important. 100%. 100% we need to follow up. So if you're a coach and you don't follow up after you've had a discovery call and after you've sent that email, and I've just recommended to everybody in our coach development session to send that email immediately after the session, just to summarize what you said, saying it was really nice to connect with you today. I really enjoyed learning about this, and I'm hoping we can work together and work on your words. It's just coming off the top of my head here, but I'm hoping we can work together to help you get through this. If you want to go ahead, here's my link. Here's the way in which you can pay, and let's get started. Something like that. Email it straight after immediately, and then start to think about your follow-up process from there so you can start to build up that engagement. And remember, it takes people 7 interactions with you before they feel trusted enough to buy from you. Always keep that in mind, and always seek feedback. So that's it for today. Today's the Coach Learning session, all about discovery. If you have any questions, I'm going to stay around for 3-5 minutes, so put them in the comments box below. Happy to answer them. As I mentioned, we had a coach development session. We have a coach development session every month. It's on Zoom. There's no replay. This is where we can go more into detail of what you have in place and how we can support you with how you're structuring and modeling your business, or with specific areas that you might be struggling on. But think about this process. If you haven't got the process in place, get it in place. If you haven't got the analytics and how to track it, find out how to do that next. If you've got a website, you're not using Linktree, Calendly, they make it quite easy. You can see it. You can see how many people's clicking it. But if you have your own website, you want to look at plugging in what's called a pixel, so you can track that. You can even track what links they're actually clicking on, where on the page they're clicking, so you can see what's more engaging and what's less engaging. So then you can start to amend your content that way to drive more people and more traffic and make it more attractive. But get the process in place, then track it, then identify where you might have a sticking point. And think of ways in which you can unstick that so you can consistently drive clients through your sales process. Any questions from anybody? Let me know. I can see we've got a fair few people tuned in, which is fantastic. Hopefully you've all got this in place. And I haven't gone into detail of things we need to think about to deliver a good discovery call. We talk a lot about that on our Level 5 certification program. We have a checklist and items that we need to cover. And another useful discussion we had as well, just while I'm waiting for some questions to come in, another useful discussion we had was, do we give a free coaching session as part of the discovery call? Now, this again is for you to decide as a coach. I personally find that it's a lot of a waste of time. You'll get a lot of people come for a free coaching session and then they'll not book and follow up after that. I learned this from experience. So I kind of cut that, stop that, and just have a pure discovery call where I'm there to find information within 20 minutes about what they need support with, what they need help with. I'm looking for ways in which I can make a match and identify where I can help and support them, strengthen their commitment, ask them, how much this goal actually means to them, or what if they were to solve this challenge, what's it going to unlock for them? Are they ready to dive? Are they ready to get involved? Are they ready to jump straight in? And then from there, we look to sign them on board. So think about that. Think about whether you want to have and offer a coaching session in the first discovery call, because then you start to mix it and you don't start to have any discovery call whatsoever. You just offer a free coaching session. And there's no harm in offering free coaching sessions. You might want to offer 1, 2, 3, but then that changes your whole sales process. Because once you've had those 3 coaching sessions, does it make sense to then introduce a discovery call when you know what the client's working on? That sales process becomes a little bit different. So you need to think about that gap and building that bridge between a free client that you have and how you convert it into a paid client. It becomes a completely different ball game. So have a think about that. Hopefully I've given you a lot to think about. I want to see our coaches, especially Coaching Minds, start to post, share, tell us about what you're doing, where your sticking points are, and how our supervisors, myself, can help you get through this. Thank you for your time and energy today. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in and left some good feedback and good comments in there. I really, really appreciate it. And I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll catch up very soon. Thank you.